Welcome, peace and prosperity to you all. I'm ElyJoz, and you are now in tune to Mind Clarity. Today's topic is how to be alone, or how to be by yourself. And I'll be talking about how to be by yourself when you're alone or in public, like how to be in public by yourself, how to go places and not really feel those emotions or feel anxiety or feel like people are just staring at you. First, we have to start off with changing the word alone to myself. Because first thing you have to do to start being okay with living alone or living by yourself is stop saying that you're alone. Start saying that you're by yourself. Like, I'm with myself. I'm in my own company. Because once you keep saying you're alone or I'm alone, that actually puts in your mind that you're missing something, You're alone is like, oh, somebody could be here with me right now, but I'm alone, so I'm alone. But once you start changing it to I'm with myself or I'm by myself, you accept it that the moment that you're in right now, this is it. Like, there's nobody that could come here that could fill the void, because there isn't a void. You have to fill the void by yourself. That's why you have to go from saying I'm alone to saying I'm by myself. But for you to really feel like you have yourself, you have to get connected to yourself. Also, you're not really alone. You're not really by yourself, because if you believe in a higher power, you're with that higher power 24/7. So, but for you to connect to that higher power, you have to connect to yourself. And for you to connect to yourself, you have to stop saying you're alone and start saying you're with yourself. You're in your own company. Change the mindset, change how you look at it, and it will change the effects that it has in your life. So yeah, first, change the word alone to myself. Then the best thing about being by yourself is you could get to know yourself on a deeper level. You connect to yourself. That's the best time to really dig deep and find your flaws or find your pros and your cons, because you're by yourself. There's no distraction or there's no entertainment unless you're on your phone. When you're by yourself, it's the best time to get to know yourself and to get comfortable with your own vibe and your own frequency and your own thoughts. That's where you would see if you don't like something about yourself, you can change it. But you won't really know what to change about yourself until you accept being by yourself. Don't say you're alone. Accept being by yourself and being in your own company, being in your own vibe. This is something that people actually speak on a lot, because in these times, there's a lot of people that's by themselves, or they took a different path from the people that they used to be with, or they feel like it's time to go into hermit mode or focus on themselves, but they don't know how to, or they don't know how to manage what comes with being by yourself, like the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, the urges and stuff like that. So this is what I'm here to talk about. I would say being by yourself depends on your mentality or your mindset, because if you have a negative mindset when you're by yourself, you will be a negative person, or you will have negative thoughts that pop up. But if you're a lightful person, or you're very joyful, or you're fun, you wouldn't mind being in your own company, right? So you really have to ask yourself, okay, am I not okay with being by myself, or am I not okay with the things that I don't know what's wrong with me? Sometimes you don't even know something is wrong with you until you get to a point where you're by yourself and you could sit down and reflect, or you could watch your actions and your thoughts and your reactions and stuff like that. That's a major question you would have to ask yourself, because after you change the saying of you're not alone, you're just by yourself, or you're in your own company, that's when you could take responsibility of the vibe or the feelings or the emotions or the experience you witness when you're by yourself. You can't really say, oh, this is going on because I'm alone, because now you're not alone, you're by yourself, so this is going on because of you. So you have to ask yourself, do I have a problem with being alone, or do I have a problem with myself? Do you have a problem with certain parts of yourself that you didn't change yet, or that you could have changed and made your life better, but you just kept company around, you kept distractions around, you just kept filling the void in instead of really fixing the void and filling it in with yourself. Then, after you really ask yourself, do I not like being by myself, or do I not like myself? You could see if it is something that you don't like about yourself, like sometimes every time you're alone, you might have negative thoughts. Every time you're alone, you might feel like detachment issues, like you feel like you need somebody around, or you just need a little stimulation, you just need a little time wasting. All that is really a distraction. It's really just delaying your time on earth, really. And it's keeping you away from your true self and your higher self. Because for you to reach to your higher self, or for you to reach your full potential, you have to spend a period of time alone. I'm pretty sure you heard it before, but you have to spend time alone. Like, you have to spend time in hermit mode or in isolation. But yeah, if you want to reach your full potential, or to reach the best version of yourself, you have to be okay with being alone or being by yourself. I'm not saying you have to live alone or live by yourself. You just have to be okay with it, because until you're okay with living by yourself, you will never know if you're picking someone out of love or out of, desperateness or detachment issues. You won't know if you're really connected to somebody, or you really have good similarities or good traits, until you're okay with being by yourself. Until you're okay with saying, okay, I don't have nobody around me that is like-minded like me, but I'm okay with being by myself. And then you spend a little time period by yourself, and then you step back out. And then you can have a better vision of if the person or if the people you was messing with prior to your isolation is the right people. That's where you would know, okay, I was just messing with this person just to fill this void. This relationship does it benefit me? This is just baggage. This is that. That's when you really have that clear vision of your relationships. Like I said, until you're okay with living by yourself or being by yourself, you won't know if you're picking someone out of love or out of desperateness. Like they say, just because you don't have nothing to drink, don't go drink a poisonous drink. Just because you have no food, don't stoop down and go eat grass. You have to really say, I'd rather starve than go eat trash, or I'd rather, die of dehydration than to go drink poison again. And that's where you can have that mindset of, I'd rather get to know myself, or I'd rather get through the emotions that I'm feeling with myself than to go find somebody else to go distract myself with, or handle what I have to handle with myself instead of indulging myself in unnecessary actions. And I feel like that's the main reason why a lot of people be in unnecessary relationships or friendships, because they don't know if they're picking someone out of love or out of a void. A lot of people are in unnecessary friendships, relationships, because they don't really love the person, or they're not really connected. They're just filling a void. They're just a fill-in. They're just entertainment, or they're just a time waster, a distraction, which is unnecessary, which is delaying you from reaching your full potential. After you change your word from saying you're not alone, I am by myself, I'm in my own company, then you could get to, start staying by yourself for a couple of days. Depending on, some people are already by themselves 24/7, but if you're not the type of person that's by yourself and you probably see people every day, besides work, I'm talking about like groups of friends and like hanging out. So if you like hang out with your peoples or your friends every day, like give yourself like 4 days out the week to yourself. And that's just the beginning, You're supposed to give yourself more. But if you're just starting off and you try to get used to being alone and you're trying to detach yourself from that environment, I would say give yourself like 3-4 days out the week. When you start being by yourself and you start accepting like, okay, I'm not alone, I'm by myself, I'm finna enjoy my company. And if I don't enjoy my company, I'm gonna find a way to make it better, make my company enjoyable, make my vibe enjoyable. I'm not gonna go find something to fill in the time because I'm bored. So like I said, these bored times, or these times of you by yourself, is the most crucial times, because that's where you get to know yourself. That's where you can connect to yourself and your higher power. Being by yourself is not really, it is huge, but the full thing is, you have to be by yourself and you have to learn to silence your mind. Because most of the time, when you start being by yourself, unnecessary thoughts and like feelings and like emotions, because your body's probably subconsciously wired. So once you stop doing what you used to do yesterday, your body's still gonna crave that emotion or that feeling. That's where you can understand if you don't like being by yourself or you just don't like yourself in general. Sometimes you don't like yourself and you don't know because you have so much people around you and you have so much distractions. You're doing this, you're doing that. You're hanging out with this person and you don't really know, or you don't really know how deep the problem is until you really sit by yourself and it hits you. Once you really start being by yourself, stuff is gonna pop up. Thoughts is gonna pop up. Scenarios, distractions is gonna pop up, but you have to stay firm. Distractions is definitely gonna pop up once you really choose to be by yourself or choose to be in a period of isolation. Distraction will pop up. That's when you might get people try to hit you up more often. Once you really start to be by yourself, that's when people want to hit you up to go hang out. That's when people try to draw you back in once they see that you're drawing back your energy and focusing on yourself. Not like it's in a bad way, but it's like, damn, like this person been by themselves for a minute. I ain't see such and such in a minute. Let me hit them up. Let me contact such and such. I ain't here for them in a minute. That's not them. I wouldn't say that's not them trying to damage the progress you've been doing. It's just they're so used to you being with them that they're gonna call you. If they really care about you and they used to being with you, they're gonna call you. They're gonna contact you like, yo, like what's going on? I ain't here for you in a minute. Are you okay? This, that, and the third. That's where you would tell them like, yeah, I'm okay. I just been by myself lately, focusing on myself and this, that, and the third. But besides the thoughts and the distractions and the unnecessary emotions and feelings, the next thing to being by yourself is bettering yourself. Because first you start with the change in the words from alone to myself. Then as you state to yourself more often, you can get to know like, okay, do I not like being by myself or do I not like myself? And that's where you will see like the emotions, thought process, this, that, and the third, your actions, like how do you carry yourself? That's where you can watch yourself. And then after that, after you analyze or after you see, because you don't have to wait until you know everything. You just, start with what you see. Start with what you know, and then you can figure it out along the way. Like, don't feel like you're not connected to yourself because you don't know yourself fully. Don't feel like you can't say you have yourself because you don't know yourself fully. As long as you know a little something, keep it going, and then you can learn the rest along the way, So besides all that, you have to better yourself once you're in that period of time of isolation, or once you accept that you are by yourself. Now you can better yourself because now you probably seen some of your flaws. You probably seen the negative thoughts that come up or the negative emotions or like the unnecessary reactions you do on a daily basis. And that's where you can better yourself. Always give yourself credit for being by yourself. Always give yourself credit for standing firm by yourself, Always remind yourself like, I'm proud of you or you're doing a great job for being okay with being by yourself. Because that helps build mental reassurance, That helps like, say for instance, anxiety pop up randomly. This is kind of like in the part of going outside by yourself. But say for instance, anxiety pop up. That reassurance that you've been doing for the past couple of days or in general of you remind yourself that you're okay with being by yourself or you love being by yourself or you're a great vibe or you're this, you're that. It will kick in. Once that anxiety pop up and you remind yourself of the things that you've been reminding yourself of, it will deteriorate slowly. But that's for a later topic. But yeah, after you really analyze yourself and you get to know yourself, you get to know what you don't like about yourself. That's where you can better it. And that's where you try to get better day by day. Every day is a new opportunity to better yourself, to change something about yourself, or to plant new seeds or new blessings or new thoughts. This is where the magic happens, really. Because this is where you better yourself. You already moved past the stage of I'm not alone. I'm by myself. I have my own company. And then you go past that stage, you've been by yourself for a little while, and then you're at a stage where you can ask yourself, okay, do I not like being by myself? Or do I just not like myself or my character traits? And then you could go to analyzing your life or analyzing yourself, watching yourself, what you do on a daily basis, how you think, how you eat, how you react to certain things, how much time do you spend on your phone distracting yourself? Because all that really matters, all that really adds up. How much time do you stress eat or boredom eat? Sometimes you're not even hungry, you're just eating just to fill time. And then you could get to that magic part of bettering yourself and really standing on the things that you know. Because once you know better, you will do better. That's me. Once I know better, I do better. So it's like once you really know better, it's like it's hard for you not to do better because there's something in the back of your mind saying like, bro, this is wrong, or you know what's right. So why are you not doing this? Like, just make the change or just take the step. So once you really know better, once you get to know yourself better, you will know what to do. You know what to change. You will know how how to better your life. There's certain things that you don't even know that if you just tweak it a little, your life will be amazing. That little thing that you do for fun, if you put more energy into it, it'll probably make you a more joyful person or a more happy person. There's small things that you probably do on a daily basis or occasionally that you don't even know that it's like a dopamine to you, a happy dopamine. There's things that you subconsciously do that you don't even know that your mind is doing it because it brings a certain emotion, a certain joy for a little bit of period of time. You just have to really be by yourself to really examine yourself and watch yourself on a daily basis to know like, okay, I do this because it's fun, or I do this because I feel a little bit of enjoyment, and that's also where you would understand that, okay, I do this because I be bored, or I do this because I just need a distraction, or I talk to this person because I just need to fill time and waste time, I do this because I don't know what else to do with my life. Or you probably know what to do and you're just distracting yourself, but that's where you would know if your decisions is bettering your life or it is making it worse. In one of my poems, I say, is this a line or is this bad for me? Because that's where you have to really ask yourself, like, is my decisions aligned to the person that I say I'm trying to be, or is it derailing me from my path? The creative part or the magic part, like once that part where you're trying to better yourself is where you're really gonna understand, like, if your decisions is bettering your life or is it making it worse? And like I said, once you know better, you're gonna do better, or you have to do better because you're gonna have a guilty conscience. Like, yo, you know what you're supposed to be doing, or you know this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Why are you doing it? And the voice is just gonna keep getting louder and louder and louder until you just take heed and start doing what's right. Another thing that will help you a lot with being okay with being by yourself is going on long walks by yourself. And that's just, it could be in the path, or it could be, through a garden or whatever. Just take long walks by yourself and try to live through meditation. Like, this is going to be a topic on one of my videos, but you have to try to live through meditation. So, as you're walking, you are aware of your surroundings, you're aware of yourself, you're aware of how you feel. And throughout all this, try to minimize your phone use, please. But yeah, as you're walking, you could be aware of your surroundings, be aware of the bugs or the birds, be aware of the trees, smell, this is where you live through meditation. You bring awareness to all your senses. So your smell, touch, hear, all that, emphasize it. Touch the leaves, smell. Natural grass or like natural forest or whatever, it has a different smell than what you're usually smelling. So smell, like, take deep breaths in as you're walking. Be aware of how you're walking. Sometimes you could fix your walk just by you noticing, like, why do I walk like this? My feet always go crooked. You can fix that. You can fix your mindset. Once you become conscious of you're by yourself because you're trying to better yourself, or you're trying to love yourself on a more deeper level, you can examine your thoughts, and that's where, and as you're walking, unnecessary thoughts probably will pop up, or thoughts in general. Because I'm not gonna keep saying it's unnecessary, because some of these thoughts are necessary. The bad thoughts are necessary to let you know that you are thinking badly. The bad thoughts are there to tell you to think better. The bad thoughts is there to remind you that you need to change your mindset, or you need to change your perception to get good thoughts. So I won't really say it's unnecessary thoughts. These are just bad thoughts that's showing you your mindset, or that's just showing you your subconscious mind. And that's where you can replace those thoughts with better ones. Or you can just tell your mind to be quiet in general. Like, just tell your mind to be quiet. That's fake. I would say, like, if you don't know what to replace the bad thoughts with, just tell your mind to shut up in general. Replace it with no thoughts. Like, just silence the mind. And once you silence the mind, you will know what to say and what to do. Because once you silence the mind, you already came to the conclusion that the mind that you just silenced is not good. It's just full of bad thoughts, bad scenarios, bad assumptions, bad expectations. And that's where you can be like, okay, how do I turn the bad to good? And that's where you have a clear mind to implement these better thoughts, or these better habits, or that better energy. Another thing that will help you a lot while you're by yourself, or your moment of isolation, or whatever you want to call it, is working out. And I know it's easier said than done. And I know a lot of you is going to be like, working out. All right. But yeah, this will help you a lot. And I don't even mean like going to the gym, lifting heavy weights, like going for long walks. It's like cardio is working out. You walking outside is working out. You do a little sprinting is working out. You just need to get your body active and like get your body going. Get active. Like do something. Don't just sit down. But yeah, the gym is the best way. Lifting weights, lifting, that resistance. It's going to better your mind. It's going to make your mind stronger. It's going to make you more confident. It's going to boost up your ego. A lot of people be like, oh, watch out for your ego. Don't let your ego. You're not supposed to let your ego control you, but you're supposed to have an ego, right? You're supposed to have one. You're supposed to use it to your benefit. You're not supposed to let your ego control you. You're supposed to control your ego. So yeah, it will boost your ego up, your confidence, your self-belief. It will boost your mentality up, everything, your frequency. It will, like, working out will better your life in whole. Like, for real. And I know sometimes people can't really work out because they don't feel comfortable working out by themselves in a gym full of people watching them. So I would say, like, do home workouts. You could do home workouts, bro. Like, people have excuses of, the gym this, the gym that. You can do home workouts, bro. You can do workouts outside. You can find a private gym or a community gym that has less people. You don't have to go to a commercial gym. You can work out at home or by yourself. Like, it's not really that hard. It's just up to you. Do you want to better yourself, or do you want to stay the same? Besides the gym, another thing that will help you a lot while being by yourself is challenging yourself. Like small challenges, not too crazy. And holding yourself accountable to these challenges. Like, if you say you're going to do something, or if you challenge yourself to do something, tell yourself, like, not gonna lie, if you don't do this, I'm going to look at you a certain way. Like it's kind of bad-mouthing yourself, but it's not really bad-mouthing if you go through with the challenge. Because once you go through with the challenge, you're going to feel so much better. But challenge yourself and be like, okay, if you don't go through with this challenge, I'm going to look at you like this, or this going to be you, or you going to be a little, like me, I challenge myself a lot, if not every day. So it's like, I tell myself, if you don't go through with this challenge, you ain't about what you say you about. And that's where I be like, yeah, that's what I tell myself, like, yeah, I'm going to show you I'm about what I say about, and then I go through with the challenge. I'm like, that stage, you could probably get to that stage at like the third or fourth level. Cause like, I feel like level 1 is accepting that you're by yourself and you're not alone. And if you're by yourself, you have the higher power. As you get to know yourself, you spend time alone, you can see if you didn't like being by yourself, or you just didn't like yourself in general. Because because the real you comes out when you're by yourself. So you want to know if you like yourself or you don't like the characteristics about yourself, or your personality or your emotion, this, that, and third. That's like level 2. Level 3 is like, I feel like level 3 is bettering yourself. Because once you really realize if you like yourself, if you don't like yourself, or if you don't like your personality, that falls under getting to know yourself. And I feel like level 3 is bettering yourself. You know, taking the initiative to better yourself on a daily basis and really standing firm on it no matter what's going on. And then level 4, you could implement some challenges and you can make it fun. You know, bettering yourself is like strict. Challenges, once you start giving yourself challenges, that's when you can have fun with this thing they call life, you know. But yeah, you can start with small challenges and work your way up, you know. Start by like challenging yourself to talk to random people or talk to a group of people. Challenge yourself to do like 50 squats or like 50 push-ups a day. That won't hurt, and that'll actually benefit you, because once you start doing 50 push-ups or 50 squats a day, you will work to get more, you know, from 50 to 60 to 70, and then eventually you probably might end up in a gym. I want you to do so much small challenges that you get to the point where you're like, okay, I need to do bigger than this. Or I feel like the biggest thing that could help you for real to being okay with being by yourself is challenge yourself to go out to eat by yourself. And really sit down and enjoy your meal, you know. And I know it's easier said than done. So it's like, because this is something that I personally came across a lot of people that can't eat by themselves. Like, people see me go out places by myself, or I go out to eat by myself, and they be asking like how I do it, how am I so comfortable with doing that by myself, or this, that, and the third. And you know, I've been doing it for years, so I be going places by myself all the time. But to them, I tell them like, you know, if you want to start going places by yourself, you know, you can start small. Because, yeah, it's going to be a different experience in whole. Like, totally, it's going to be a whole different experience than going places with people and going by yourself. So I say start small. Go to that ice cream parlor. Go get some ice cream and sit down and eat it. See how you feel. Go get that ice cream. Sit down for the whole ice cream and eat it. See how you feel. Ask yourself questions. You know, be aware of the environment. You know, and then like the first time you're out to eat by yourself, you're gonna be looking over your shoulders, or you're gonna be like, is this person staring at me? You're gonna be overthinking stuff, and you're gonna be like, oh, this person judging me, or I have to eat pretty, or this, that, and the third, or I can't eat a certain way. People might be watching. You know, and eventually you get to a point where, like, the second or third outing, you're going to get to a point where you're like, okay, nobody's even watching. Like, nobody even cares. Like, for real, like, by the time you're out at your third restaurant by yourself, you're like, wow. Like, all this anxiety, or all this unnecessary thoughts, or all this assumptions or expectations, it was for nothing, because this is really chill. And that's where you will understand, like, okay, being by myself is a whole vibe. Like, I'm great company. And also, throughout the journey of being by yourself or getting to know yourself, you will realize, like, hey, like, my company is great. Like, the energy that I bring into people's lives are amazing. So that's where you will also gain self-worth and knowledge and self-belief, and really stand firm on, you know, if this person ain't treat me right, I'm okay with being by myself. You know, I'm gonna go eat by myself. I could go to movies by myself. I could go shopping. I could do this, that, and the third. So this person that's disrespecting me or overstepping my boundaries, they can go, because I'm okay with being by myself. But yeah, really challenge yourself, and that should be one of your greatest challenges, is to going out to eat by yourself. You can work your way up from ice cream, which is like snacks, and then you go to like fast food. And then you can go to like an upper class, and then you can go to like high class. I feel like the last level is really fine dining by yourself. That's where you really know, okay, that's where you really the king, or you really the queen of being by yourself. If you could go fine dining by yourself, because once you really do all these things, you're going to realize how much people are not doing this or is scared to do it. And that's where that's also another boost of energy. And it's not really belittling people or comparing yourself to people. It's reality. And because reality is like what it is, And what it is I can go out to eat and you can't. So that's also a reassurance or a brain reassurance, like you're doing good, you're doing great. And you can also remind yourself of the old you. You know, your first outing, getting an ice cream, you probably was scared, you probably was anxious. You know, you probably was like, damn, who's gonna see me? Who's gonna pop up? You know, you're probably like, damn, do these people think I'm a lame because I'm by myself? By the time your third or fourth outing, you don't even care what people think, or you don't even care what the public thinks or whatever. And yeah, there's levels to everything, but like you will reach a certain level where you don't really care. Like you really don't care. And that's probably a beautiful state of mind when you really don't care and you can go out to eat. And you could, like me, I could go out to eat. I'll go out to eat, grab me something to eat. If I don't like it, I'll go somewhere else, grab me something to eat. I'll sit there and eat, but I don't care. And I feel like that's the best state of mind. But yeah, some key components of how to be outside alone, or how to go out to eat alone, or go to that event alone, or that party, or this, that, and the third alone, or by yourself, is knowing that you are not by yourself. You have yourself, and you have a higher power with you. You know, remind yourself that you are always protected, or you are always guided, and you are always looked over. So you're not really having that much of a, you know, anxiety, or, you know, but it will pop up. Not anxiety will pop up. You know, for some people that have anxiety problems, it might pop up. But sometimes it's not even anxiety. It's just you overthinking. You overthinking negative thoughts, and it's just piling up, and you're overwhelming yourself. You're overwhelming your mind and your nervous system, and you feel like you have an anxiety. You know, sometimes you can make yourself have an anxiety attack, or you can make yourself feel like you have anxiety or depression just by you thinking it. You know, you walking in thinking so much assumptions or so much predictions or so much scenarios that probably never gonna happen. It's gonna cause nerves to, you know, activate. You know, whatever you think about activates a nerve. That's why they say watch your thoughts, because every thought you think of activates a nerve. And if you're activating anxiety nerves, obviously you're gonna feel anxiety. But if you activate the calming nerves, like I said in the beginning, you know, the reassurance that you give yourself on a daily basis helps you when your nerves start to act up. And that's where you remind yourself, like, chill out, I'm okay, there's nothing wrong for real. That's where, you know, you get to know your surroundings. You know, ask yourself, like, what's wrong? Once you start feeling anxiety, ask yourself, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? Is it just because I'm by myself, or is it something really wrong? And then you'll probably realize there's nothing wrong, and then your heart will stop racing, or you will feel yourself like become calmer and calmer and calmer. But I feel like anxiety or overthinking is really the only issue, because besides that, it's just, you know, once you overcome that, it's really free game. Because like I said, if you've been building up, and it's not like you just stepped outside, you've been building yourself up, you've already been to yourself for a little minute. You know, you went through the process, and then you already been challenging yourself and doing things. So you already been gaining your mental, you already been gaining your physical, you probably been working out. You already been gaining, you already been putting yourself through that process. So when you get to the point where you're going out to eat by yourself, it's like, okay, this ain't nothing really. It's just something new. It's something new, but I'm going to own this new thing, and I'm going to make sure it goes how I want it to go. But yeah, most of the issues that I've seen people have when it comes to like going out by themselves or being by themselves in general is anxiety, overthinking, unnecessary, unrealistic scenarios, unnecessary expectations. Because some of the scenarios people be coming up with, like, it makes no sense you're even thinking about that. Like, what the hell? But yeah, and that all falls under one condition, like anxiety or overthinking. If you're worrying about thoughts of other people, that's overthinking, or that's unnecessary scenarios, or that's anxiety. And all that falls under mental work. And that's why I told y'all the process of how to do the mental work before you can physically go outside, or before you can physically do that thing by yourself. You know, if you've been doing the mental work, if you've been affirming, if you've been putting yourself through that process, then when you're outside and anxiety pop up, or you start feeling a certain way, you will know that all it really takes is a quick affirmation or a quick reminder. Like, I'm good. I'm okay with being by myself. I have myself. I have a higher power. I'm looked over. This, that, and the third. I've been doing this for a couple. This is not something new to the process. I've been doing this. So, because I've helped a lot of my friends or my peers or people I don't even know. I've helped people that I don't even know with their anxiety, because I be telling them, like, a big question that you could ask yourself anytime you're having anxiety is, what's wrong? Like, I've told them, like, ask yourself what's wrong, what's going on, like, why are you tripping? Is there a reason? And 9 times out of 10, they can't put a reason to their feeling. And once you really can't put a reason to your feeling, it doesn't add up to you. And what don't add up, you're gonna subtract. So eventually you're gonna be like, okay, this feeling is bull. It's unnecessary. It's probably not as serious as I'm thinking it is, But yeah, I've helped a lot of people with their anxiety and stuff just by that one question. What's wrong? What's really wrong? Ask yourself what's wrong. Like, take a look at your surroundings and really look, like, if anything's going on. Okay, nothing's going on. What's wrong? And then you get to a point where you see that it's all in your mind. Your mind is what's wrong, or it's wrong for the moment, and then you can get right. Because as much as clear as my mind be, that I do have slip-ups still, but it's not about the slip-ups, it's how fast you get back on track. Because if you let yourself get in a emotional slump for 2 hours for something you could have did in 2 minutes, then that's on you, And no matter how strong you is, you're gonna slip up. Like, you're gonna slip up. Like I said, it don't matter how you slip up. It's how fast do you fix that problem. A lot of people, they get a problem and then they dread it on for the whole day just because they have a problem, And there's some people that once they get the problem, or once they see that there is a problem, they, quickly get to it, they situate it, they fix it, and then they get back to living a good life. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like the only thing that's perfect about me is my mindset. Like, I stay open through a lot of things. So it's easier to fix problems when you have an open mindset. A lot of people, a problem will pop up and then they'll close their mind off, or they'll start pouting or complaining, when in reality, you don't even have a problem. Because I feel like problems are things that can't be solved. If you could solve that thing, then it's not a problem. You're making it a problem. Once you really examine yourself on the outside world, you will understand, like, is it the world that's the problem, or is it my mind? Am I assuming things? Am I taking things out of proportion? Am I having unnecessary scenarios going on in my head? Am I believing the unnecessary scenarios going on in my head? To summarize or to refresh what I've been talking about, the first step of being by yourself is changing how you look at it and changing your mindset towards it and how you perceive it. Stop saying you're alone and start saying you're with yourself. Because if you keep saying you're alone, that means there is a void or there's an emptiness that needs to be filled, Because you saying you're alone is like, damn, I don't have nobody, or this, that, and the third. And that indicates that there is a void that needs to be filled. But once you change it to I'm with myself, or even I'm by myself, you will see that, you are your existence. Like, you take up all the space in your life. So there's no void to be filled, because you're feeling it, because you're with yourself. You're not alone, you're with yourself. So change from saying you're alone to you're with yourself. Then after you change your mindset or how you receive it, after you stop saying you're alone, you start saying you're with yourself, you can start physically being by yourself. And while you're by yourself, you can get to know yourself. You can connect to your higher power, and you can connect to yourself. The more you connect to yourself, the more you connect to your higher power. And the more you connect to your higher power is the more you connect to yourself. It goes hand in hand. Also, ask yourself the big question, do I not like being by myself, or do I not like myself in general? Like, do I not like my personality traits? Do I not like the emotions that comes up when I'm by myself? Because in all honesty, your true self is who you are by yourself. only you get to see the real true you, unless you're as comfortable with showing it to everybody else. But on a regular, only you get to see the real you. So that's where you can ask yourself the big question: do I not like being by myself, or do I just don't like myself in general? That also goes with getting to know yourself, because that's where you get to know yourself, when you start being by yourself physically. After you mentally accept that you are with yourself, you can physically be by yourself. After you make the physical action of being by yourself and you get to know yourself, and you already asked yourself the big question, you get to know your flaws, you get to know what you don't like about yourself, the things you can change, and then you can start bettering yourself. And that comes with going to the gym or staying active, or at this point, since you know your flaws, you know what you like, and you know what benefits you in a way. So you would be emphasizing the parts of you that's good and the things that you do that's already good, and that brings you that little dopamine of joy or of excitement or of self-comfortability that comes with bettering yourself. Also, as you're bettering yourself, you could create challenges or side missions. You could start having fun with being by yourself. The enjoyment is throughout the whole journey. But up until you start bettering yourself, it's kind of like iffy. It's not. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's easy to be by yourself or to get to know yourself, but it gets to a point where you like it or you enjoy it, and you're like, oh my God, I'm a vibe, or I'm amazing. I'm an amazing person. I have this type of energy. I could do what I want by myself, this, that, and the third. And also remember, if you're not okay with living by yourself or living with yourself, you won't ever understand, or you won't ever know if you're picking someone out of true love or out of a void that needs to be filled, out of distraction or out of detachment issues or something like that. But yeah, as you're bettering yourself, you can create challenges or side missions, like I was speaking on, and that's where you have the fun with it. I feel like once you get to that point when you start bettering yourself, that's when you can start having fun with this, like truly fun, and start enjoying in it. You start realizing, like, I am a vibe, I am this, I am that. Besides the physical work, you're doing the mental work. The majority of this thing is mental. Life is a mental game. So all of this is just mental. So you affirming, or you reminding yourself on a daily basis, and you giving yourself credit that you're doing good. You're great by yourself. You're a vibe. You love your energy. You love your company. You can make yourself laugh, this, that, you could brighten your day up, etc., etc. That's where things really get fun, and that's where you know that you're at that stage where, okay, I'm getting there. Like, that's probably like 40, like 50%, I'd say 50%. And then after that, after you're bettering yourself, you're doing the mental work, and then you go out to eat. Like I said, you can start small with ice cream, and then you work your way up to like fine dining by yourself, or like going to arcades or like museums, or going to different events by yourself. But you have to do the mental work to get to that point, because you will encounter things along your journey, like along your journey of being with yourself and enjoying your own company and getting to know yourself. You will encounter things that's mainly mental. And the main thing that a lot of people encounter is anxiety, overthinking, unnecessary scenarios, unrealistic scenarios, like I was saying, worrying about what other people think of them, unnecessary things. That's all mental. And don't forget, as anxiety pops up, or as feeling of anxious or nervousness pops up, ask yourself, like, what's wrong? Is there really something wrong, or is it just my mind playing tricks on me? Ask yourself, like, what's wrong? What's really wrong? And don't make it an excuse. Like, find out what's really wrong. Sometimes the only thing that's wrong is your mentality or your mindset or yourself. The environment you're in is probably calming, and you're just overthinking, like, oh my God, this person is judging me, and that person not even looking at your way. That person is probably looking at you, congratulating you in their mind, like, wow, this person's able to sit there by yourself, and this person able to sit there by themselves and eat and enjoy their company. Like I said, the more you do things by yourself or with yourself, you realize that a lot of people are out here doing things with other people. Like a lot of people won't do things without other people. Or to better put it, a lot of people are living lives because they are around other people, you know. Because once they get by themselves, it's like, it's a whole different person. Like I said, only you know who you are. Only you see the true, unfiltered you, you know, so you would know if what you're doing is really for you or if you're only doing it because you have company. So all of this is really a mind game. That's why it starts off with changing your mindset from saying that you're alone to saying that you're with yourself. And it ends with a mindset thing. Because the last level is basically going out by yourself. Going out to eat, going out to events, arcades, museum, paintball, and this, you know, doing things by yourself. And it ends with a mind game, as in, once you go out by yourself, you're going to have mental things that come your way, like thoughts, assumptions, expectations, anxiety, you know, emotions, feelings, unnecessary stuff. Everything starts mental and it ends mental. But yeah, keep prospering and stay peaceful. I'm ElyJoz, and I'm grateful you allowed me to clear a part of your brain today. Tune in to the next video.